are watching Keep It Weird, the
visual section of our podcast.
Keep It Weird.
Something
For
like
our YouTube channel, we've never quite worked on an opening.
No.
For the This Week in Weird.
We usually just jump into it and see what the heck happens.
See what happens. So far, nothing brilliant has happened.
No, but it gets the job done after 2 years of doing this.
Do you remember when we first had this idea and we were like, we're going to start doing it and it's going to be a video and blah, 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 blah. And it took us months to get a camera situation that worked. Mm-hmm. Dark times. Dark times
in our life. Now we're such professionals, and we have all of this equipment.
We're in the studio.
We're definitely in the studio and not in Ashley's living room near a snake tank.
Empty snake tank.
Rest in peace. Snake tank. Aw. R.I.P. Mark.
R.I.P. This is our new segment. This Week in Weird. Weird.
That was very holiday-ish what you did.
Oh, really? That was my Thanksgiving song.
Oh, I loved
my Thanksgiving tune.
It was the Thanksgiving song, and it. Well, okay, we already learned it. It's fine. Sometimes we're on the same
in a while.
That's true. We don't have our connection.
It's the psychic
connection. You have to
re-get it. And you're connecting for two.
Oh, I know this guy. He's messing things up for us.
He's taking it all.
He's taking some of my soul.
He's taking your joie.
So sad.
Your joie de vivre.
Rude.
Hi, this is our new segment. This is the portion of our show where we bring you all the weird, wacky, strange news from all over the world.
Bizarre stuff. Some derpy stuff.
A derpy thing. Oh, I actually have I have a couple derps.
Yay, we have derps. Derps in the house. Derps in the house. That hurt me.
You're dancing for two now.
No, everything hurts. It's different.
Everything she does is for two. Okay, so I'll start. I have one. So I actually had quite a roller coaster with this story. Okay. I'll read you the title of the article that I found, and then we'll go from there. So the title was, Councilman resigns after secret furry life revealed.
I'm already excited.
Councilman Scott Chamberlain of New Milford, Connecticut, who was up for re-election, is stepping down after a town resident posted several screenshots on Facebook of the lawmaker's profile on a private website for furries, which, if anyone doesn't know, is my favorite sexual fetish obsession. I love it.
Dressing up as animals.
Yes, yeah. Furries are essentially people who don animal costumes, animal avatars, or just animal personas, most of the time for sexual gratification, but not always. Sometimes it's just a fantasy thing. The mayor of Connecticut actually called for his immediate resignation from the town council and any other appointed boards and commissions, which I thought was nuts, and I was actually kind of peeved about it first.
It's a brutal sentence.
I don't know, having a sexual fetish doesn't make you unfit to
be in
especially
office.
I mean, I guess there's a lot of Catholics in Connecticut, but it's not Utah.
No.
You know what I mean?
You think they'd be a little more forward, a little more progressive
and it's
there.
not, it's not like I don't know.
It's a sexual preference rather than him harming anyone, or he's still able to do his job.
Exactly. I didn't think it had anything to do with that. So
I don't love it.
I thought it was a huge overreaction, and I thought it was really shitty to ruin this guy's life because he likes to escape reality by becoming a fox named Gray Muzzle.
Gray Muzzle the fox?
Yes. For fantasy and or sexual reasons, we don't know.
Yeah.
It's no one's business. No. And this information was found on a private site that was not public. It was not linked to his Facebook. So I just kind of felt icky about it. However.
Oh gosh.
The tables
what are you about to tell
eventually
me?
turned. Because when I read more about the situation, and they referenced his likes on the site. And so the site it's sort of like the Facebook algorithm with you get different reactions. But this site that he was on ranged from loves, likes, tolerates, and hates.
Okay.
So that was the range. Well, okay. So the profile indicated that Chamberlain tolerates rape.
Ooh. We don't love that.
Not the best.
Ugh,
and
that's rough.
But the thing is if it was for a sexual thing, like, rape fantasies are a real thing. Rape fantasies are real for women. They're real for men. That doesn't mean that a woman wants to actually be raped by a stranger or be raped by her partner, or that the man wants to actually rape someone. So, again, it's a private site. Mm-hmm. However, you get into, like, really muddy waters when it's just like the, like, Brett Kavanaugh thing. When it was like, okay, here's the thing. Maybe he didn't rape these women, but he was present and complicit with the sexual assaults of these young women, and he's Penny's like, I'm out. This is too serious for me.
You guys got deep.
And it's when you're putting someone in a position of power, like holding an office position of any kind, whether it's a judge or like a mayor or councilman or whatever, they have to pretty much take a hard stance on things like sexual assault.
Yeah, that's
if they're even kind of like iffy about it, I don't want them in office.
No,
because I don't want them to dismiss a sexual assault case because they tolerate it.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't work.
Yeah,
so,
that changes things.
In the end, I think they probably made
a good
the
call.
right decision.
Oof. Man, I wanted to be on this guy's team
I really
and be
did
like,
too.
you can be Grey Muzzle if you want.
You can be, like, here's the thing.
You can be the fox.
I don't understand furries. No. I don't understand that fetish.
It's not going to be my preference.
But I don't have anything against anyone who does, as long as it's the same thing with everything. With rape fantasies, with BDSM, with whatever foot fetishes, whatever it is. As long as the other person is a willing party.
Yep. If they're saying yes.
Who cares? That's why, like, that's the huge issue with, like, we talked a lot about it in the last episode with me and Steven with, like, pedophilia. It's like, anyone under 18 cannot be complicit in any situation that you put them in.
No matter what you say.
Tough. That's just how it works.
That is how it is.
Anyways, so furry out of office.
Oh, furry gone.
His army is, it was over. He's up for a re-election. Like, he's fine.
It's all right. So, there is a haunted mirror up for auction. We've talked about haunted mirrors on here before. This one's a little different, a little bit of a twist. This haunted mirror that's up for auction is believed to be possessed by the ghost of the captain of the Titanic. And is set to be sold for £10,000. It'll probably go for more. I feel like people are going to be crazy.
Played the captain in the movie Titanic?
I was trying to think, but what's funny is the actor who plays him looks exactly like the real one. There's a picture on here as I read along. I'll show you the picture of the real captain. Like, I don't know how they found that beautiful man.
Solely on looks.
Yeah, like, we don't know if he can act, but they're twins.
Doesn't matter.
He probably came out of the mirror and did the movie. I don't know.
He might have.
So, this 110-year-old mirror is believed to be possessed once a year by Edward John Smith, who left it on his dressing table right before boarding the Titanic for its infamous journey that didn't end so well, as we all know. A servant of the captain, her name was Ethelwyn, I believe, I'm going to go with that pronunciation, was offered to take one item from his home when the ship went down, instead of wages, which to me is kind of seems like bullshit. Like, instead of being paid, you can take an item off his dresser. You can have a brush. No.
Did she get a free ticket? Was she just, like, on her way? That's the only explanation that I find acceptable in this situation.
I don't understand. They were just like, he died, here's something, take a mirror instead of your wages. I don't, So she was given the mirror as her final send-off once the captain was deemed dead and the Titanic had sank.
Okay.
But this terrified maid told relatives almost immediately that she could still see Captain Smith's face in this silver-framed mirror. She said she would see glimmers of things and just didn't feel right, but on the anniversary of the Titanic sinking, 2 years in a row this happened, she actually saw his face in the mirror on April 12th, right? That's it. April 14th. Since then, the haunted mirror was passed down by Ethelwyn's relatives and was later discovered in a deceased estate in Wolverhampton before coming into possession. No, what?
It's fine.
Ran by Wolverines. And before coming into possession of current owner David Smith, who has kept it in a vault for the last 5 years, but is now giving it to this auction.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Like my gosh, it does look like him!
Looked like. Wait, will they be able to see it? I never know. Yeah!
Yeah, oh.
Right? Like, they cast the perfect man. That is him. The caption underneath is like, the actor. I'm like, it wasn't really him. No, this was him.
It was the guy. Look at those medals.
I know, what a guy.
Very decorated.
Such a sad, even though, like, we all know what happened to the Titanic, when I really think about it, I'm like, that is so sad.
So sad. The only thing good to come out of Titanic is Matthew Crawley getting to join
Downton Abbey. You're exactly right. I didn't even think about that connection.
If we didn't have the Titanic,
you're right.
He wouldn't have been able to join them.
I don't remember when he broke our hearts. Well, spoiler alert. You should have watched it.
You should have seen it. This was like season 3.
I didn't say why. Okay. The letter, I have a couple more things.
Okay.
The letter penned by Ethelwyn's sister-in-law, Hilda, that was connected with the mirror and addressed to someone named Ida. It kept getting passed down with the mirror, this letter. Chillingly reads, Ethelwyn always spooked me when she would say that she could still see Captain Smith's face on the anniversary of the Titanic every year. Auctioneer, it said this on the letter. So you get this mirror and you're like, oh, fun. Oh,
great.
what? There's a ghost?
Price.
Auctioneer Richard Winterton said the last time Captain Edward John Smith saw his own noble bearded visage before leaving home to take the helm of the Titanic was possibly in this very mirror. Even with one's feet firmly on land and in the sunshine of a clear afternoon, there is something otherworldly about seeing your own reflection in such an object as this. Again, this will probably go for about £10,000, probably more. I feel like people are going to be in a bidding war against this. I think it's pretty cool.
But was it actually on the Titanic?
It wasn't. It's just haunted by the captain.
Right, okay.
So maybe it won't go for more. But I feel like there's enough hoo-ha going around about it now that maybe people
especially
will be
if you invite the actor that played the captain to the
Yes.
auction.
He should be presenting it. He should be the auctioneer in this situation.
Is there a place where you can write in and say, call me?
Call me, I have ideas.
I've got ideas.
We'll put it in. And this is the mirror. I mean,
oh,
it's cool
it's
looking.
A mirror.
Yeah,
it is.
It's fun.
That could definitely be haunted.
Yeah, 100%.
All mirrors could be haunted.
I know.
Technically.
So many spooky mirrors. Ashley has some spooky mirrors in her home.
I know. I'm not gonna lie. That's awesome.
Ghosty Titanic mirror.
Maybe the Traveling Paranormal Museum will get it.
I know! Well, when I first read this story, I was like, I pray that they bid on it so that when we can finally go see it, we'll see the mirror there and maybe Captain John. Edward? I don't know.
Captain
Edward John?
Oh, Captain my Captain.
He had like 3 names. It's fine. Oh, Captain my
Speaking
Captain.
of 3 names, this has nothing to do with 3 names, but I had no segue. So, this is something that I've been arguing about, I've been arguing against this for years. Many, many years.
Oh, no.
So, it turns out that so many people have had their DNA sequenced that they've put everyone's privacy in jeopardy.
Really?
Everyone.
Wait, the like ancestry things?
Ancestry.
I've never felt good about this. My parents did it, and I feel like they're going to get kidnapped. Anyway.
So a new study shows that more than half of Americans could be identified by name if you all you had to start with was a sample of their DNA and a few basic facts, like around which region do they live, and like around what age may they be. Ooh. Just a sample of your DNA. So if you're walking around, you've got your coffee, you take your last swig, you throw it in a trash can. Someone takes that out. They have your DNA on the coffee cup. They know that you're in Los Angeles, California, and you're around just anywhere from 26 to 35 years.
Sure, they can estimate your age.
There it is.
And there you go. You're going to have a van come by your house, and you're going to be shoved inside with a blindfold.
I don't know why you're so obsessed with the kidnapping thing, because I don't know what that has
I don't
to do
know.
with it.
I just feel like if someone's going to know my information, that's going to be my demise. That's how I end. I'm going to be shoved into a van blindfolded.
That's fine.
It's a thing.
It wouldn't be simple, and it wouldn't be like a cheap thing, but if someone really wanted to, they could very easily gain that information.
Yeah.
It's become very doable, and it really needs to make us rethink all the 23andMe, Ancestry.com.
100%.
Hoo-ha. It's a really cool thing that's available to us to be able to test your DNA, trace your family tree, or find long-lost relatives, or to find, one thing that's huge, find markers in your DNA that you could be more susceptible to whatever disease, or that your great-great-great-great-grandmother had MS. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that.
There are positive aspects to it, 100%.
There's more positive than negative.
I agree.
However, literally anyone can search these databases for DNA results. There's no lock on, like, so, like, if you sent in a DNA, you don't have to, like, there's no way to, if you sent in DNA and paid for it, you get those results.
Yeah.
You don't it doesn't have to be me sending it in.
That's true.
That
is actually very true. You're going to have something mailed.
Yeah,
back.
you literally just send in a swab.
That's
so I could even say, like, it's me, but really I can put whoever's DNA in there.
Get my DNA.
And it's super creepy that these companies show up places like baseball fields and theme parks to get, like, as many signatures or as many people to order as possible. Like, that always kind of creeped me out. Like, I just don't like it.
Why are they pushing so hard?
Post-apocalyptic movies, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I can't do it. Anyway, so they've tested it a handful of times at Columbia University, and their researchers, led by computer scientist Yaniv Ehrlich, have set out to see if they can find a person's name, and thus their identity, if all they had to go on was a piece of their DNA and the small amount of biographical information, which I told you. And it took 1 day.
Oh, my gosh.
1 day to
get that information?
To have just DNA, no name, no nothing, just, like, kind of age, kind of region. Took 1 day to figure out who this was.
Okay, well.
So far, the most famous person to be identified using this method was Joseph James D'Angelo, a.k.a. the Golden State Killer. This was back in April. He ended up getting convicted of 13 counts of attempted kidnapping and 13 counts of murder. And this was in April of this year, and since then, at least 13 additional suspected criminals have been identified the exact same way.
That's pretty crazy.
And what they did to find them, their DNA wasn't in the system at all.
Right.
It was their, I think it was like his second cousin had a 23andMe done, and they were able to find the second cousin, find that guy's second cousin, which was this guy who had been questioned in the case before.
Yeah.
And they got him. And it had nothing to do with...
It was as easy as that.
Yeah, it was as easy as that. So... We're catching all these murderers, all these criminals, we're being reunited with family, so, like, what could possibly be the problem? And the thing is like, this system can be misused so easily. Mm-hmm. And, like, right now, everything's fine and dandy, but what happens if, like, a foreign government wants to find a specific American?
Sure.
Or what happens when, I don't know... Remember when people were checking into Facebook when, was it the Dakota Pipeline? Mm-hmm. Everyone was checking into the Dakota Pipeline because they were looking on Facebook to find protesters' profiles.
Right.
Like, they were going to punish them.
Yeah.
What if they use this kind of technology, this DNA technology, to find protesters or something that's completely legal to protest?
Exactly. But they're finding them in order for
They're finding them to punish them. Yeah. Or illegal immigration. Mm-hmm. If we decided, like, you know what, we're not even going to take legal immigrants anymore. Like, anyone who's traveled here in the past, use 23andMe.
We're going to come find you. That's so really scary to think about.
Scary.
It's really scary. Yeah. Like, this technology is too easily accessible. That's insane that it's that simple.
And these researchers are basically like, we don't want to get rid of this stuff. Like, it's a really great thing, but we need to make sure that these companies that are collecting these DNA samples are as protected as possible.
100%.
And
it needs to be more secure.
That the actual DNA testing process is a more protected process. Mm-hmm. That you can only search for your own DNA.
Agreed.
And cops can still have, like, the police force can still have access to, like, tracking murderers or whatever. Sure. But you have to draw a line. Like, mm-hmm. When does the government get involved? When does the FBI have access to it?
Right.
It just...
We have to find a way around that. Yeah, there absolutely has to be more security on there. Yeah. And I do agree that I should only be able to find out about my DNA. Mm-hmm. Ashley should not be able to submit my DNA.
Unless you have, like, a badge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I agree.
I should not be able to access anyone else's information.
Agreed.
Anyway, so
spooky.
Literally half of Americans at this point right now. And actually, when this was done, when they, like, actually tested this study, this was, like, a couple months ago, and they said that number's probably more now. So a couple months ago, it was half of Americans could absolutely be found without submitting their DNA, be found because of these DNA sites.
That's
So,
nuts.
Sleep well.
I know. The van is coming for me.
The van.
It's that windowless van.
You're not even afraid of like who's in the van, where you're going. It's the van.
The van's coming. I don't know what they want with me, who it is, but a van's coming to pick me up, and I'm going to be blindfolded and maybe tied up. I don't know. Anyway, I have no reason for thinking that.
Her fear doesn't go far enough to find out like what happens after the van pulls up. It's
no,
just
I don't know if I get murdered,
up.
questioned, just the van pulls up. That's as far as we get. That's my nightmare. Anywho.
Anyway.
Possible UFO sighting.
Yay!
Possibly nothing, but we like to talk about these. It's fun to believe. Okay, but this is what happened. The only reason I thought this was cool was because several different people saw this coming from different areas. It all involved airplane pilots while flying in a plane.
Yeah.
So several commercial airline pilots reported a series of fast-moving, unidentified objects in the skies off the west coast of Ireland last week, and this incident is now under intense investigation.
Oh, no. Oh, yes.
Yes. One pilot said the object or objects were traveling at astronomical speeds of at least Mach 2 or twice the speed of sound.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me. I was like, what? Who's Mach?
Mach?
Mac?
Is that a men's razor?
No. That's what I literally when I read it has to be. I think it's called like Mach 3 or I don't know. Because I literally thought that. Smart people
are probably wrong.
So I know someone's gonna write in and be like, "That is not the name of any razor we've ever seen
in history."
No. We invented. Oh well, trademark.
TM.
Yep, TM. I was gonna say C for copyright. Do we need to do that too?
CCC.
It'll be fine. The incident began when a British Airways pilot flying from Montreal to London's Heathrow Airport contacted Shannon Air Traffic Control in Ireland and asked if there were any military aircraft in the vicinity for any reason. When told there was no such aircraft, the pilot said something had moved so fast past them just now.
Mach 2 at least.
Mach 2 at least. The air traffic controller said, are you sure it was alongside you? And the pilot replied that two objects had approached on the left and then rapidly veered toward the north at a crazy speed. We saw a bright light and it just disappeared at a very high speed. We couldn't keep up. A Virgin Airlines flight from Orlando to Manchester then reported also two bright lights that seemed to bank over to the right and then climb away at an intense speed. So a very similar description. The pilot described it almost looked like a meteor or another object making some kind of re-entry. It appears to be multiple objects. Spit a little. It appears to be multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory. I can do this. Very bright from where we were. Then a third pilot chimed in and said, oh, good. Glad it wasn't just me. I love that it's quoting like their casual chat. The Norwegian air pilot flying from Stewart Airport in New York to Shannon, Ireland said, this was a very interesting one. The British Airways flight was a Boeing 787, the Virgin was a Boeing 747, and the Norwegian air flight was a Boeing 737. I don't know if that's important, but it was reported by the Irish Examiner, so I said it. So the BBC and the Irish Aviation Authority is now investigating reports of unusual air activity in the area. It definitely was not a military aircraft. It could have been, the explanation for it that most people are going with is it could have been a meteor re-entering the atmosphere, which is one pilot said. It did sort of look like it could have been something breaking apart upon re-entry, but it was definitely multiple bright lights, like going at this intense speed and veering around together, which is the thing that weirds me out. But everyone is kind of going with that theory, I think, just for their sanity at this point, and saying it's probably fireballs, a meteor that broke up before it could reach Earth.
It's probably fireballs.
It's probably
the
devil coming in.
The devil!
So we talked about him in our last story.
Oh, yeah.
It's like fiery devil entering the atmosphere.
Entering the atmosphere from above and below.
Exactly.
Pit devil.
So, yeah, it's probably a meteor is what everyone is saying, but is still under investigation, and it's crazy that all three of these pilots had the same story of, like, these crazy bright lights were going at a speed I've never seen, and they veered off after going in the same direction for a long period of time. That's what irks me a bit. So, That's what's happening.
That's what irks me. So
I just want a better explanation
So
for that.
after they saw them and they passed them, did they say where they went?
One said to the north, one said they went off to the right. So not understanding the navigation of airplanes, I don't know where everyone was exactly coming from, even though they said what cities they were all traveling to.
You could show me a map and I'd still be like, is that north?
If any of you heard what I just said, there was like a New York to Ireland, something to Manchester. Mm-hmm. Wherever those directions are was where they were going. Like, they were going along their same path and then veered off a different way.
I just feel like if they were flying in a straight line and they came up beside the
alongside them, and then
wouldn't they head down if they were meteors?
If it was a meteor, that's what I'm saying. That's the
I don't know anything about meteors though. Like, I mean, I know that they exist,
I'm like, I have no idea.
know that sometimes they crash into the ground.
That's the part that's weirding me out, though. Like, why did it just go and like go to the right or go up?
I've never heard of a meteor turning, but as I said,
what I'm saying. I don't know stuff.
I don't know anything about meteors.
So you can definitely write in, correct us, and say you're both the biggest dummies I've ever watched on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's a fun theory.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. Please be nice. We never claim we knew stuff.
We don't know.
Yeah, I think it's weird.
I too think it's weird, but not that weird because I believe it.
Yeah. I guess you wouldn't even say it was weird. It's just like, yep, those are our alien friends.
Those are our buds.
Taking a trip.
Or green buds. Or gray buds. Depends on what
Could I show you the funny picture that they had as like the video thumbnail? The alien with the pilot's cap. I thought it was cute. We might have to post that for you guys.
We'll post it.
He's pretty adorable.
It's like adorable. It's equal parts adorable and the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's horrifying a little bit, but kind of cute.
So I have named this segment of mine Devil Exercise.
Okay.
Do you know what exercise I'm going to reference?
No.
Oh, well, okay. So, all right,
like exercising a demon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For your body.
Okay.
So.
Excuse you.
Gabby. We'll just move on. Gabby's she's going potty, so it's fine. Do you hear any little tip taps?
Do your thing, your small tip taps.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying that I have really been trying to take it easy on Christians lately. But it's so hard. It's so hard. You make it so easy to not be nice
not
to
all
you.
Of you. And I feel like we say that. It's not every Christian, but when one of you comes forward and does something, then we have to talk about it.
I gotta talk about it. Okay. So during a mass in October, megachurch pastor John Lindell told his 10,500 followers that yoga positions were created with demonic intent to open you up to demonic power because Hinduism is demonic.
What?
Okay, first of all,
that's what I say.
Exactly.
Right?
That's first of all. Second of all, mega churches are the actual devil.
Honestly.
Actual devil. Like, if you attend a mega church, well, if you don't know, because it's easy to get roped into that. But if you own, operate, or preach in a mega church, you are an incarnation of the devil himself. And I don't feel ashamed saying that. 1 or 2 technically, because 1 was a verb.
Yes.
3 then. Hinduism is not demonic.
No, not even a little bit. That's
this.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard come out of someone's mouth. Yes. To be like, you're practicing demonic things when you're exercising because it's Hinduism. You just said 2 different things. First of all, saying it's demonic and then it's Hinduism. Like, those are separate things. Hinduism is not demonic.
Yeah. So that
you
want to say demonic? Okay. So this bozo was basically saying that even Christian yoga, which I guess that's a thing, Christian yoga, but whatever. Christian yoga is off limits too, because if it's truly Christian, it can't truly be yoga, and assured his flock that they'd be okay if they quit practicing yoga immediately, but he can't say the same if you keep doing it. he
then
was
you're
pretty
screwed.
yeah, he was pretty fired up about this.
I
So
can't.
actually yoga practitioners in the area have expressed fear that a member of the congregation will respond inappropriately to his angry sermon, take him seriously, and do something like bring a gun into the studio or burn down their business. And it probably doesn't help that a yoga studio was just shot up last month.
It just happened.
6 people died. 6 people died? I think
so.
6 people died. Like, they're pretty upset and disturbed about this because it's so far from the truth, 1, and 2, we all have, documented proof of what happens when religious fanatics go against somebody.
Right.
So
it's so scary.
that's pretty much the entire story, but I just wanted to take the moment to clear some things up really quick for anyone that's confused. These are in addition to the burp. Megachurches are the devil, and Hinduism is not demonic. 1, the yoga that is practiced at gyms and most studios in the United States is not real yoga. Like, it's a mixture of asana and pranayama, which are the postures and the breathing exercises. The religion is taken completely out of it. Most places don't even practice the meditation unless you count, like, the very, like, your final asana where you, like, lay on the floor and you just take 5 minutes of silence
for yourself.
and breathing.
And
and the thing is like, prayer is a form of meditation.
Exactly.
Like, Jesus meditated in the Bible. David meditated in the Bible. Joshua meditated in the Bible. So to say that, like, that portion of yoga is demonic is like...
You're calling anything you are practicing in the church demonic then, because people are meditating every day in your church.
So, again, you don't have to be worried that you're praying to a Hindu god while you're in your, Lululemon tank top. Like, it's a completely different
They're just
thing.
doing that for stretching and exercising purposes when they take out, like, the rituals.
Yoga, number 2, yoga, although practiced by many pagans, is not pagan worship. And even if it fucking was, so are birthday cakes, Christmas, Easter, Halloween. That's all pagans. That's all things that Christians took from
pagan rituals,
and made their own thing out of it. Like, Jesus was
not
born on December 25th.
No, absolutely not. That was just a made holiday.
He did not bring gifts.
No. Santa wasn't his bestie.
No!
I mean, we wish. It'd be fun. But.
Easters were not there. Bunnies were not there on Easter. It's a pagan thing because of fertility and fucking like rabbits. And finally, yoga lowers blood pressure, increases circulation, decreases stress, helps insomnia, helps depression, helps arthritis, asthma, hypertension, protects your spine, it betters your bone health, it prevents cartilage and joint breakdown, it boosts your immunity, and it lowers your blood sugar. So go fuck yourself.
And do some yoga!
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Oh my gosh, I started watching Sabrina. We'll talk later.
We do have to talk later if anyone has watched any of Sabrina. So that just, like, I saw that pop up so many times about this guy's sermon about how yoga is the devil. And I am a practicer of yoga, both the movement, the breathing, and, like, the religious aspects of yoga. But... come on.
That's a real stretch that man made. He is awful. Like, that's all
awful.
I'm trying to, like, have any sort of respect for this guy right now, and I can't be kind to him at all. I think he's terrible.
The worst. Even if you take his idea of, like, the positions are demonic. The positions are all based on nature and animals, which were created by God. If you're a Christian and you believe that, they were created by your God. How can that be demonic?
I don't understand it. I don't get the correlation. No. And devil horn position.
Like, no. I can't.
One of the positions is happy baby.
One of the positions is happy baby, and it happens to be one of my favorite positions. It almost always makes me fart.
I was going to say, it really relieves the gas. It helps your digestive system. Happy baby.
Happy baby.
Who could be upset about that?
Who could call that demonic? I guess Rosemary.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
That's very true. Hope you guys saw our Halloween costumes.
Hope you saw our Halloween costumes. They were a lot.
Great. They're a lot. My last story. It's not even considered weird news. It's just the dumbest because it's part of Lauren's Derp Corner. Ooh.
Yeah, I did something different.
I loved it. I'm gonna clap in a circle because I loved it. Do. Oh God, I'm doing too much in my chest tonight.
You're doing too much with your.
I've grown.
Body.
I used to be completely
You're
flat-chested. I don't know what to do with all of this. Okay.
Yes.
This story. As jokes go, this one was really crappy. You'll see what that means in a second. You hear that joke? It's not as gross as you think. It's just the dumb. I can't stress enough how dumb this is. A New Orleans man accused of threatening to blow up a local restaurant last Tuesday told police it's all just a big misunderstanding and he was referring to a large bowel movement that he had to make. Here's the story.
What?
30-year-old Arthur Posey walked into Willie's Chicken Shack and asked an employee what time the restaurant closed. When the employee told Posey she wasn't sure, he allegedly replied, "Y'all about to close right now because I'm going to get a bomb and blow this place up." Those were his exact words. Restaurant employees, several of them, and other witnesses told police that Posey was very angry during the entire discussion. He was aggressive, he was forward, and he later told police that he was just referring to the restroom, and that's what he says when he has to make a big poop, and that he wasn't making any real threats at any time. The employee said he never mentioned the bathroom in the long conversation that they had, and it was clearly a threat. Posey faces 2 counts of communicating false information of planned arson, and he will also need to appear in court for a competency hearing, according to Fox News.
Here's the thing. I thought you were going to say that he was doing court for a communication problem.
He doesn't know how to communicate.
Communicated poorly.
We don't like the way you said your phrasing.
$6,000. Excuse me.
What?
He didn't have to poop?
No.
This whole time I was like, this poor guy.
I know, you think at the beginning of the story, like, oh, maybe he, really did have a bowel movement. Let's hear him out. But then when you hear...
shaking, and they're like, no.
Said he angrily was like, I'm about to blow this place up if I don't get my chicken. That was more what was coming out of his mouth.
Does he have access to bombs?
I don't think so. I think the threat was empty, is what we're finding, but he still made the threat and was aggressive and scared these employees. So he needs to be...
cover that shit up. I mean, not you didn't.
I give him points for creativity.
To court. You're still charged.
But the creativity involved. Be like, that is what I call bathroom time.
That is what I call
I'm about to blow the shit up. But no one was buying his excuse. Yeah. But I thought it was hilarious.
Do you know what Joe and I say when we have to poop?
What?
I got a full butt.
I got a full butt?
Full butt. They're like, oh, baby, I got a full butt right now.
That's both gross and amazing.
Kind of adorable.
At the same time. It's just gross when you imagine a full butt. But,
a butt full of it.
Just
but yeah.
Full of it. But no,
like,
it's kind of adorable.
I have to go poop. Yeah, I got a full butt.
I have nothing cute that I say.
Ever?
No, I feel like I'm just time to go. And I'm off. Time to poop.
Go. Do you have a candle? Do you have some matches?
I'm usually warning Alex that it's about to be deadly, but again, it's nothing cute.
That's
it's always
true.
Woo! Watch out.
You have a very adorable thing that you do when you use the bathroom.
Oh. These dreams live when golden time. I don't know the words to the song. I make them up. I sing that song almost every time I go to the bathroom. Almost every
single time she's in
the bathroom. There's no reason behind it.
So strange.
It's very weird.
I actually have some very quick fire, rapid fire news stories
wanted
to, because I saw so many and I couldn't choose, so I'm going to go. One. Okay. An Australian man died at the age of 27 after developing a series of complications from a disease he developed after eating a garden slug on a dare 8 years ago.
8 years ago when he just developed some stuff?
Well, no.
It's been over time.
So the disease is called lungworm.
Oh.
And a couple days after he ate the slug, his legs started to hurt. And he went to the doctor where he was told that he has rat lungworm, which affects the brain and the spinal cord. So he actually went into a coma.
Oh my God.
And when he came out of the coma, he had brain damage, and 8 years later he died.
From this damn slug dare.
Apparently it's found in rodents. However, an infected rodent can pass on the larva through their feces, and slugs and snails sometimes become infected if they eat the larva. So if you are walking around, you eat the slug.
Right.
So
by
just
all
don't eat
that
slugs.
line, it comes into view. Yeah. So how about we don't eat slugs?
Just don't eat the slugs.
No.
There you go.
Anything that can come in contact with feces is going to be a no-no.
Don't eat it. Number 2, the tattoos that covered nearly all of a recently deceased tattoo artist's body are being preserved and framed by a U.S. company called Save My Ink Forever.
Oh.
They usually work on much smaller pieces, but they are pretty much taking the man's entire body of skin for this procedure, and his tattoo will be unveiled at an expo next spring.
Wait, what do you mean? They take his skin off?
Skin off.
Oh, okay. I mean,
like, apparently it's really popular, like, if you want a loved one, like, after your loved one passes. I want to say that the actual person has to order it for when they pass.
I was going to say, I would think they'd need permission.
I don't think that, like Alex could say, like, he wanted one of your tattoos. Right. I think that the person, because
has
the skin
to agree to it,
organ. So I think they have to order it, and he did when he was alive. He said, I want all of my tattoos. So
it just sounds so icky.
I don't understand. Like, is it going to be individual? Because usually it's one tattoo and it's, like, framed. It's, like, flattened and dried and framed. Which is still, like, oh, God.
I know.
But, like, I wonder if it's going to be his whole, like, would they be able to take it all off? I don't know. I don't like to think about it. But his widow says that she promises that she'll also have her tattoos preserved after death, and is quoted as saying, I know one day I'll be hanging right there with my husband. Which makes me think they're like hanging.
The skin hanging. I'm just like thinking a
and
little.
It makes me
feel weird.
Want to never touch anything again.
No, like everything is
like
wrong.
Bubble Boy style.
Yes, like don't touch
me. Put me in a balloon.
I hate it.
3, Antarctic scientist. Antarctic.
Yeah.
Okay, scientist stabs colleague who kept telling him the endings of books he was reading.
Oh, wait, did he kill the guy?
No.
Okay.
So he didn't kill the guy.
I feel okay about laughing.
Imagine it's like The Thing, but if like aliens weren't coming in,
I was literally thinking
boredom,
of The Thing.
and instead of like flamethrowers, it's books. They're like bored and they're working, and this guy would keep telling him the endings of the book, so he took a kitchen knife and he stabbed him.
I mean, he kind of had it coming. Don't be a dick.
Don't
spoil books.
Yeah, he's now charged with attempted murder, and he's like, I think it said he was the first man to be charged with attempted murder in Antarctica, which is crazy.
You'd think more people would go mad.
You'd think. Sergei Savitsky?
Okay.
Anyways, I don't think he deserves to be charged with anything.
No. You stop spoiling books.
Natural reaction, okay?
I agree.
And finally, number 4, 6 people, including a pregnant woman, fell from the 95th through to the 11th floor in a skyscraper in Chicago on Friday. It was the John Hancock Center.
Yeah,
it's not that anymore. I think it's called something else. But they all survived.
What? Wait, how did they fall?
A hoist. It says a hoist rope.
What?
Snapped, but the cables still attached to the cabin prevented it from hitting the ground. So it still stopped pretty suddenly, and they all like fell. There was what did I say? 11 of them.
Yeah, that's
6 people.
That's a lot.
In an elevator fell from the 95th to the 11th floor.
Your stomach would just be in your eyeballs. Like that feeling of like, I'm falling so fast.
Yeah, and the thing is, they had to text their friends to get like emergency services. Like once they were down, they had to be like, someone help please.
Yeah, get us
the
out of here.
Callbacks wasn't working or anything. And the firemen had to actually cut a hole through a cement wall. Because the 11th floor, I guess there was underground floors. Okay. Because the 11th floor was part of the parking structure.
Oh my gosh.
So they had to like come and like cut through, because they couldn't move the elevator up or down.
Yeah.
So they
were
like
just
cut
stuck there. Oh my god. I'm
my
thinking
literal worst nightmare.
Truly my worst nightmare. And especially being pregnant, that poor woman was probably just like, I have to hang it through this. What if she'd given birth?
I wonder, it doesn't say.
She'd given birth in the elevator.
I know that they were in there for quite some time.
I would imagine, yeah.
This says the lift passed its most recent inspection in July, so the incident is still under investigation. What if, oh my gosh,
I don't like hearing
what if it was like, oh, me neither. No, thank you. That means that every piece of paper in every elevator that I've ever
passed
been
their
in
inspection means
means
nothing.
Oh
God.
I wonder if it was anything like the movie Devil.
I know!
And I wonder if one of them was the devil.
It could have been the baby. You keep going back to the pregnant lady.
Anyways, that was our new segment, This Week in Weird.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to go record an episode now and have a happy Thanksgiving, which is probably a couple days ago.
Yep. I hope you ate some turkey.
Hope you had a good day.
Bye.
Keep it weird.
Right?